are videos you don't want to believe are authentic because you can't fake these top 10 scary videos. Number 10. Followed through an abandoned school. An overnight adventure at an abandoned school turns into a nightmare. Published to YouTube in July of 2021 by D-Doc Michael. This video is filmed at this creepy abandoned school. Upon entering, the explorer finds a pair of boots on the stairs. They're surrounded by red splotches, which could either be paint or something more sinister. Further along, he comes across a ritual site of sorts. A red circle with a blade surrounded by a red blotch in the middle. It's still wet. He picks up the blade and remarks that it's still leaking. As he looks at the ritual site, he hears something in the next room. He turns towards the door and another noise is heard. Heading towards it, more noises sound off in the hallway. And then music, which makes him dart out of there as fast as he can. As he's hiding in another room, scared out of his life, this happens. Instead of leaving, he decides to follow his stalker.
Oh! Hey! Yeah.
The stranger is not in the bathroom. He's not in the hallway. He's not on the second floor. Although this creepy mist drifts in, where is he? D-Doc never catches whoever or whatever was stalking him through the school. All I know is I wouldn't ever go back there. Number 9. Hopping the Gate. In early morning India in February of 2021, a dangerous creature roamed the streets. Caught on CCTV footage near a hotel, a great big lion is seen strolling around the parking lot and disregarding a boundary wall blocking entry to the premises, hopping right over it. Shared on Twitter, apparently lions are not rare to the city. In fact, the city is at the foothills of the Girnar Hill near the Gur Lion Sanctuary. The hotel in this footage is near the railway station in a busy part of town, which makes the presence of this lion even more scary. The footage was retweeted by an officer of the Indian Forest Service who noted that human-animal conflict was rising in the state. Other videos show the lion entering the parking lot and nosing around before leaving towards the gate. Twitter user Prash Moktin writes, "Lion doesn't know which car to take. We hope he found his way, and we hope it was far, far away from the general public." Number 8. Scariest tunnel in town. Do you want to make a new tunnel friend? Published to YouTube by Creepy Encounters in July of 2021, the uploader notes that these clips are from the r/Creepy Encounters subreddit. The original poster writes, "Me and Michael made a new friend at the end of the tunnel. The pair were passing their time inside a lit-up tunnel at night, when at the dark end, they spot this stranger peeking around the corner. Zooming in, a faint figure can be seen watching them before he quickly pulls out of view. A close-up of the figure is obscure but confirms that someone is definitely down there, waiting for them. The pair appear to turn around and head in the other direction. Probably a good idea. Kind of doubt that person wanted to be their friend. A creepy encounter indeed." Number 7. House of Dolls. What's scarier than an abandoned asylum, A haunted one. Published to YouTube by CJ Faison in July of 2021, this asylum is both abandoned and haunted. This scary video follows CJ and his team during their overnighter at this asylum. As they enter, it looks like they're already being watched. At least it appears that way.
Yeah, that's all boarded up there.
When scanning the boarded up wall, the camera captures something strange overhead. It looks like a person is hanging above, peering down at the intruders. Greeting them upon their arrival is this frightening doll with red eyes, a bruised looking face, and ratty hair. The creepiest thing about this doll is the name carved across its forehead.
And a B, right?
Yeah.
Robin isn't the only terrifying doll they encounter. These old Victorian dressed dolls are missing their faces altogether.
Half this chick's face is gone. And half his face is gone too. That's weird.
Shortly after, they cross paths with this fright who has red eyes popping out of its dirty face. He looks particularly scary, just hanging out by himself in the corner.
We're gonna put it in the middle of the hallway, and we're gonna ask a spirit to come up and touch this. It's got motion sensors. If this thing is any type of activity... Oh gosh, that's weird. I don't like that. That was very weird.
Later, a monkey stuffed animal starts going off in the hallway. CJ asks the spirit to touch it again for him to activate the sound. It sounds like the monkey is shorting out.
If there's a spirit here, can you touch that and make that thing go off?
They paused filming to get batteries and see if the spirit would activate the toy again. He notes how it's only when someone touches it or comes near it that it goes off like that. Lastly, while sitting in a bathroom, the crew hears something in the next room. It sounds like someone is walking across the floor or moving in some way. It scares the entire crew as they hold their breath, listening. Can they be sure that they're alone, or is someone else in this asylum with them? Number 6. What's up, Doc? The Doctor's In. Published to the r/ghosts subreddit by Brick Whimsy. This terrifying happening occurred in an abandoned hospital, as you can see by the plaques on each door in the hallway. The explorer first enters the surgery room, but there is nothing inside. He continues down the empty hallway, turning to the right and then to the left. That's when this happens. One half of a partially closed curtain pulls slowly open, revealing nothing and no one standing behind. Instead of running out of there like no one's business, the explorer runs toward the curtain, turning the corner to see if anyone is hiding around the other side. The space is empty. While Redditor R1Full Opt1C simply writes, "Thanks, I hate it." Another user, XImension, has a serious observation. OP would not last long in a horror movie. Let's hope he lasted in this one and made it out safe. Number 5. Haunted Kitchen. The kitchen seems to be many a ghost's favorite haunt. Published to YouTube by Dark Path Scary in July of 2021. A poltergeist decided to throw together a meal at the witching hour, and he's a busy dude. Firstly, a hand towel slides across the counter, hanging precariously over the edge without falling off. Next, a bottle of some sort is knocked from the top of the microwave. It clatters onto the counter next to the hand towel. A moment later, the drawer below the hand towel opens and, at the same time, a frying pan's handle is lifted upward, perpendicular with the counter. It hovers there while the cupboard above it swings open. And one of the blades moves around in the blade block. Then multiple things happen in quick succession. The frying pan is dropped into the sink. The cupboard closes but is left ajar. The blade moves in and out of the block before falling parallel with the counter. Another blade begins moving out of the block, and a salt shaker slides across the counter. In the extremely active Poltergeist's big finale, both blades are slammed onto the counter. While orchestrating all this mayhem, the Poltergeist forgot one thing: to put together a meal. Number 4. Witch's Kitchen. Would you brave an overnighter at a known witch's house? Published to YouTube in February of 2021 by a Russian channel, whose name translated to English is A Sip of Fear. This scary video will give you more than just a sip. While performing a ritual in an abandoned home that's purported to be a witch's house and is tattered in ruins, the paranormal investigator sits in a circle with votive candles all around. He takes out a piece of paper and, after taking a deep frozen breath, reads aloud.
В этом доме со мной может кто-то выйти на контакт.
Nothing happens, but after a few times repeating himself and snapping photos with a camera, something finally makes a move.
И вас считали ведьмой.
The investigator again says something and then pauses to listen. In the next room, the kitchen, an item is pushed over.
Вы правда?
It sounds like a broom or something wooden crashes to the floor. The investigator takes several photos before leaving his safe space to see for himself. In viewing the footage from the kitchen, you hear the investigator say his piece, and then the object is heard falling to the floor, knocking the camera in the process. The camera unfortunately doesn't catch what the falling object is. Did the witch come out to play? She's probably about to cook her next meal. You. Number 3. Haunted Firefighters Museum. It probably comes as no surprise that firefighter paraphernalia might be haunted. After all, firefighters have seen some of the worst crises known to man, and often not everyone makes it out alive. Published to YouTube by NASMA Paranormal Investigations in January of 2018, this scary security footage takes the night at the museum to the next level. The manager at the Denver Firefighters Museum confirmed with NASMA Paranormal that this footage is authentic. NASMA Paranormal writes, "We were all down in the basement when our tech Carrie heard a door. Once we all went back upstairs, we found the door opened and nobody was in this area as we were all in the basement." The footage from November of 2017 was shot around midnight. As mentioned, it shows the door opening and closing, which can be seen in the reflection of a glass display. There is also clearly a figure outlined in the doorway. Is this a ghost just fooling around? Perhaps someone who is lost in the flames? Number 2. Night at the Cemetery. When the living spend the night with the passed away, they can expect to become one of them. Published to YouTube by Raphael Furpa in July of 2021, this graveyard night takes a turn for the worst. A device they placed on a tree is triggered not 30 minutes after their arrival.
Galera, é isso. Onde é que tá chegando aqui, cara? Meu Deus do céu, chegou no vermelho, Caimão. Olha aqui, galera.
Shortly after, another device, this one outfitted like a creepy doll, is also triggered. Raphael notes that a man took someone's life here.
Abriu lá, disparou, cara. Não.
Later, the doll falls over on its own, and then its lights start going off again.
Você lembra que apareceu um bagulho lá?
They then use a Kinect and see a figure clearly dancing around in the darkness. The first device starts to go off again.
Galera, olha isso, cara. Tá disparando, cara. Ali onde o Kainan tá mexendo é o volume.
Não, o volume é aqui, ó.
Tira a mão
Não tô
daí,
nem
pessoal,
mexendo.
pensar que é você.
As they're checking on their Kinect once more, with the figure still visible, something presses hard into their tent.
Vou pegar esse Spirit Box ali. Tá vendo isso, Kainan? Olha isso, cara. Tá, Prila, olha ali. Vai, Prila! Vamos olhar, Prila!
Is it the Kinect figure? They run around the other side of the tent, but nothing is there. Later, while they're communicating through the spirit box, the spirit says loudly and clearly, Jefferson.
Jefferson! Galera, o Spirit Box deu tilt.
When they ask the spirit box, did the person who performed the operation go there? The response is cirurgia.
Alguma parada. Cirurgia, cara.
Soon after, one of the guys feels something on his arm. Perhaps the scariest moment comes next. Creeping through the graveyard stalks this shadow figure. Its dark outline is barely visible for a moment as it walks between the rocks, only to disappear entirely. As they try to catch some sleep in their tent, something scares them awake. The Kinect man has appeared again. His figure shows up dancing around on the Kinect, and he apparently takes it upon himself to bounce against the outside of the tent yet again.
Tá do lado do Kainan, cara. Sai daí, cara!
While they may have thought the haunting was over, as one of the pair is chilling on the ground next to the creepy doll, suddenly the thing launches at him full stop, like she's trying to possess his soul. Did she succeed, or did whatever demon spirit possessing her remain behind in the cemetery? I've got a challenge for you. Since you've made it this far, why not like this video and hit subscribe in the next 5 seconds? Because I upload 4 new scary videos every week. If you're curious about what I look like in real life, then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT and tap that follow button to find out. Number 1. Unwelcome guest. Picture this. You're in church when you see this unwelcome guest enter the sacred space. You probably think you're daydreaming, but you're not. Published to YouTube by Real Bizarre in June of 2020, this creepy demon creature is all too real. The photo went viral in 2018, and while the pastor never once saw the creature in his church, some in the congregation said it attended mass regularly. Those who did see it prayed incessantly that the demon would leave. Eventually it did. I guess you can chalk it up to the power of prayer, or maybe the demon finally realized he wasn't welcome to the party. If you want clean sheets in the morning, you'd better skip this top 10. Simply put, these videos are simply too scary.